Once upon a time there were these little green men, these little army men that people would play with, and they would set up gun men and grenade men and tank men, and they would set them up and they would shoot at each other. These people grew up, and I believe they started to play war games. Duel of Ages Set 1 Worldspanner involves a different lineage, I believe. Once upon a time, people had these action figures that were larger than the little green army men, and the action figures had different unique stories and different unique powers, and they would fight. And these people grew up and they decided to make a game that they would really like, and that was Duel of Ages Set 1 Worldspanner. Each player is going to be dealt these cards. Each of these cards is someone who may or may not have existed. They're embodiments of character types put together by this super great advanced human race of the ultra future, with the help of this world-spanning entity. The story doesn't really matter. Well, it matters. Okay, it matters. I'm sorry, but the story doesn't really affect gameplay so much, except to say that you're going to have all these people, like here's Private Sanchez, who maybe from Vietnam, Annie Oakley. You're going to have all these people from all these different walks of life battling it out. This is what the map looks like that the game's going to be played on. One piece is called a platter. When you set up, each player is going to take turns placing a platter, and one of these things, which is called a key, so you get to pick one platter, one key, put it together, pa-chow. Then the next player is going to pick one platter, one key, add it on. Now there's some strategy here, because based on what characters you have, the other player isn't aware of what characters you have at this time. You're going to pick different platters and different keys and put them in particular places. For example, there's one character in this basic set that moves really well in swamps. If you have that character, you're going to put this in a strategic location so that you can maximize that ability. And here we have our game all set up and ready to play. We have as our team captains Herb and Fisher over here, leading the white team, which consists of these fine fellows. And we have Billy Goatfoe over here, and he's in charge of this black team here. The teams, again, were dealt out randomly, and they took turns placing tiles, though they actually didn't put much thought into it. And now they're ready to get started. So Herman, being the white team captain, goes first, and he's going to pick two of his men or women, two of his beings, to be what's called dismissed to the board. So he's going to roll a six-sided die, and I do it for him. And he picked the Martians to go first because of their great speed, and he's got to put them in a 2 space, one of these domes that says 2. Now the Martians are futuristic, so he wants them as close to there as possible, so he's going to put them right there. He will do so again for another person named Krator, and then Billy Goatfoe will do the same thing. Alright, that's done. They've each taken one turn so far, and so now Herb and Fisher gets to move his guys, and he's going to start by moving Krator towards the ancient labyrinth, and this is a good time to talk about what labyrinths are. The characters, the items, and everything else in this game are divided into 4 ages. We have the Ancient Age, we have the Future Age, we have the Colonial Age, and we have the Modern Age. Each of these ages has a labyrinth, and each of these ages has a challenge deck that goes with that labyrinth. Characters are also divided into those ages. So here, Damon Raven, here's a future guy, we have a colonial guy, we have a modern guy, future, colonial, future, ancient, and future. Each labyrinth has 2 markers, one that's white for the white team and one that's black for the black team. When you get one of your guys to the labyrinth marker, you get to draw a challenge and try and beat the challenge. How pretty much all challenges are resolved in this game is you take a trait of a specific color from one person and they go against a trait of another color, or maybe the same color, that's either from the challenge card there, we got that blue light bulb, or that's from say another trait on a different character. So if you're trying to shoot a character, you're going to have to look at the character card that you're trying to shoot. If you're trying to beat a challenge, you got to look at the trait on the challenge card. So Krator can normally only move 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is terrain, so it's going to cost him a little more. 5, 6, 7. But since Herman Fisher is cheating and using some puppeteer magic, he's going to warp him over to here so that we can show you what a challenge looks like. So Krator's brains are blue. Alright, so if we look at our chart here, we have blue, and we have blue, and they meet and they have 7. So 7 is called our number to squeak. We need a 7 to squeak. We're going to roll the dice. We got a 7, so if we look at the squeak result, Krator is going to get an item card from our item deck. And that would normally be played upside down so the other player can't see it, but since their eyes don't work, we can have it turned up. And then this symbol means he's banished. Now banishment is really similar to dismissal, only the other team gets to choose where they go. So I rolled a 6, so Billy Goat to 4A can pick either of these 2 6s, which are the only 2 on the board, to put Krator. So why do you want to move these things forward? Why? Why? Because this is how you get points. Whoever has their marker the furthest along this labyrinth track at the end of the game, gets a point. So that's worth potential 4 points, and then whoever has the most players, most characters left at the end of the game also gets a point. So there's possible 5 points in the basic game. So basically the game involves people taking turns moving their teams, trying to get through the labyrinths, trying to get items so you can compete more effectively with the other team, trying to get points, trying to move yourself along the labyrinth until agreed upon time limit. In terms of who this game would appeal to, it kind of occupies an odd place in the gaming field. A wargamer, it's a war game, I believe. If you wanted to give it a straight up category, but I think your average wargamer might find the rules a little too luck heavy, though there definitely is there's definitely a lot of tactics and some strategy to it. The movement around to domes can definitely change things pretty quickly and outside of your control. So you kind of got to be able to work with that. Oh, I hear someone coming. And yet the game is kind of, I mean, it's very war gamey. So I don't know if it's going to appeal to the average war gamer or the average regular gamer. Either. I took it to my friendly local game shop today for the board game afternoon, and I was able to get one new guy to play with me who had never been a part of the board gaming group before. We played for a little bit. He said he enjoyed it. I invited numerous people who were like, oh, what's this weird game with the hexes you're playing, to join us, and there were no takers. I think I feel like this is a game I really enjoy playing by myself. And I think I would enjoy playing it with someone else. I just don't know who that someone would be. I think if I were in high school and I had like an attic or a garage I hung out in, and I had some friends who were like dark clothes and maybe had, I don't know, and they wanted to come play this game, we could spend several hours playing it. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it a lot. The variety of characters and how they are able to interact in a fairly balanced way is just a lot of fun. I will say for the game, at least in terms of solo play, it didn't take long. I mean, when I first got it, I played a lot. It did not take long for me to really want to just like expand it through the roof, because you want to have more characters, you want to have more items, you want to have more challenges. And I feel like that was probably the intention. This game seems to be separate from a lot of the games out there in terms of culture. I don't know that this is a game that's going to find its way with into the groups that are playing Power Grid, or the groups that are playing Dominion, or the groups that are playing maybe Arkham Horror, but probably not, because you got these flimsy pieces of cardboard, and when I got the game, it was all bowed, and it's not the most attractive thing, but the ideas are there, and the ideas are attractive. The way the ideas interact are attractive. This is the game to have your action figures fight with. I imagine its creation process was messy. I think it was, these people had a lot of ideas, and they somehow made it work.